When I saw the grin stretch across her face as she penned her signature on the divorce papers, I felt absolutely nothing. No pain, no sorrow, just a strange kind of stillness, like the quiet just before a thunderstorm breaks. Melissa and I had been married for 7 years. Ours wasn't some fairy tale, but from the outside, it seemed solid. We took vacations twice a year, smiled for photos at holiday dinners, and acted like the affectionate couple everyone admired. But behind the curtain, things had been unraveling for a while. The widening distance in bed, the cold, polite silence, the way she clung to her phone like it held state secrets. I'd known she was stepping out on me, with her personal trainer, no less. I just chose not to confront her, not yet, because while she was off playing her little games, I was preparing a much larger one of my own. You see, Melissa always saw me as dependable. The unremarkable guy with a humble IT job, a plain house, and a boring lifestyle. She used to call me reliable with a grin that didn't quite reach her eyes. I saw the disinterest growing inside her. I wasn't rich enough, daring enough, or flashy enough to keep her attention. But here's the thing, that dull image she saw, it was all by design. By day, I did the 9 to 5 routine. But by night, I was building a tech startup that quietly took off during the pandemic. I never boasted, never showed off. I poured every cent back into the company, filed it under a holding corporation, and separated my accounts so thoroughly there wasn't a trail she could sniff out. By the time she served me the divorce papers, flashing that smug smile, my personal worth was just shy of $12 million. This is the right move for both of us, she said casually, sipping her kale smoothie like we were chatting about a movie. I agree, I told her. She blinked. That wasn't the reaction she expected. She thought I'd grovel, cry, try to win her back. Instead, I calmly signed and let her believe she'd score the win. In the following weeks, she flaunted her so-called victory, told her friends she'd be keeping the house, getting a monthly payout, and starting fresh. Finally free from her boring husband, she paraded her new boyfriend on social media, the same guy I'd watched pick her up a few blocks away to dodge my security cams. I let her have her fun. Then came the day of the court hearing, the day everything fell apart for her. She strolled and dressed to impress. Tight-fitting dress, professionally styled hair, zero humility. She even winked at me from across the room, like we were sharing some kind of inside joke. I didn't flinch. I sat beside my lawyer, calm and unreadable. And then the moment she'd been waiting for arrived. The judge asked us to present financial disclosures. She'd perked up like a predator sensing weakness. I handed a folder to my attorney. Melissa's lawyer rose. Your Honor, my client believes Mr. Preston may be hiding assets. His declared income is inconsistent with his reported spending, especially for travel. The judge adjusted his glasses, flipping through the documents. Actually, he said, based on the financial evidence presented today, Mr. Preston owns and operates a technology firm, Preston Innovations, LLC, responsible for several patents, licensing deals, and investment portfolios. Melissa tilted her head, clearly confused. As of this month, the judge continued, Mr. Preston's estimated net worth is $11.8 million. The room fell silent. I turned to look at her. The smugness had drained from her face. Her eyes widened, jaw hanging slightly. No words came out. It was like watching her spirit exit her body in slow motion. The same woman who had mocked my supposedly dull job now saw the man she discarded through an entirely different lens, one shaped by success, wealth, and the bitter sting of missed opportunity. She scrambled to speak. I didn't know about any of this, she stammered. We were married. Doesn't that mean I should get a share? My lawyer cleared his throat. Your Honor, all the assets were built through Mr. Preston's company, legally established before the marriage. He maintained entirely separate accounts. There is no evidence of joint ownership or contribution by Mrs. Preston. Furthermore, per the prenuptial agreement signed in 2016, which remains valid and binding, any business interests and profits remain Mr. Preston's sole property. Boom. She had either forgotten about the prenup or assumed it wouldn't hold up. The judge nodded and closed the file. There's no legal justification to award Mrs. Preston any portion of the business holdings. We'll proceed with standard division of jointly acquired marital assets. This includes a primary residence, which was purchased and solely maintained by Mr. Preston prior to the marriage. Melissa turned to me now, desperation in her eyes. But we were together for 7 years. I met her gaze calmly. Yes, and through most of those years, I was loyal, patient, and quietly building something you never care to see. She opened her mouth to respond, but the judge had already moved on. 10 minutes later, it was finished. She walked away with nothing. No house, no alimony, just her car and her half of the joint checking account, which held just enough to maybe cover a couple of months' rent, if she budgeted carefully. I left the courtroom without a glance back. That night, I poured myself a glass of whiskey, stepped out onto my balcony, and finally allowed myself to smile. Melissa thought she'd be laughing all the way to the bank. Instead, she walked straight into a brick wall, one built by her own arrogance and short-sightedness. Now she sees my company in the headlines, hears me on interviews, and watches the new woman in my life. Someone who doesn't just label me reliable, but sees the strength, vision, and drive behind it. Sometimes, the most satisfying revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. It's success. And it's the look in someone's eyes when they realize far too late what they threw away.